I posted a video about why financial advisors are essential to the economy recently, and I get a ton of comments saying that, hey, insurance is important, are essential, but FAs are not. In today's video, I'm going to share my 2 cents on why I still believe that financial advisors play a big part in people's lives, despite having more access to information, despite that there's still a stigma, and yes, even though there are commissions-hungry advisors out there. The first reason, or my first thought, is actually the nature of the product itself. Insurance is a product that you buy, that you can't touch or see, and you hope to never use for event you don't want to happen, right? And so it's relatively harder than other types of products, to create a desire people to want to take action to buy, right? So for example, you see an iPhone 17 Pro Max, versus insurance companies saying that, hey, this is a new whole life insurance, you probably wouldn't get a kind of desire to want to buy a whole life insurance, even though you see an ad, right? And culturally, in Asian context, it's that insurance has a very negative connotation to it, right? Because you talk about death, you talk about unfortunate things that could happen, and people don't really want to think about it as well, right? And so by default, it creates a lot of friction, to even think, consider, and then, apply to even purchase and take out money, right? And we haven't even talked about like knowing how much to buy, we haven't talked about researching on the companies, the products, etc. Now, the second thought is because of time sensitivity. 8 years ago, right, my mom had no hospitalization plan. She only had like a term plan or something, but she didn't have any hospitalization plan. And at the point in time, I was just educated enough, right, to realize that, hospital plan is important, insurance is important, and then I told her that she knew get it immediately. We were lucky because she was about 56 or 57 years old. She was still healthy and everything was great. 6 months later, what happened was that she had severe pain in the stomach and ended up being hospitalized, right? And I believe it was stones in the gallbladder that causing a lot of pain, etc., right? And then that one visit costed us more than 20,000, which luckily we were able to claim because of the hospital plan. Now, the point here is that, like, if I didn't reach out to her at a point in time 6 months ago and say that you gotta get it now, it would have been too late, And not only would we have to take out money out of our own pockets to pay, more importantly is that she probably wouldn't be able to get insured after that incident for the rest of her life as well, right? And guess what happens to the medical bills and expenses? Guess who's going to be the one worrying? Me, right? Because I love her and I care for her. My point is, yes, there are people who are getting more educated, yes, people are more savvy, and yes, eventually at some point in time, these savvy people will eventually buy. That being said, just because you have more information out there and having access to this information doesn't mean that you necessitate actions. At the end of the day, it's very important that, we have people to kind of prompt us, to really say, okay, maybe you need insurance, etc., etc. Because part of the nature of insurance, right, is that part of the problem you try to solve is about timing, and that the sooner you get covered, right, the lesser the risk you have later on. This is the reason why, since timing matters, and the nature of product is one that creates so much friction in people's mindset and mind space, I've seen so many people only wanting to get insurance usually after something happened to them, or number two, something happened to people around them that they care about, right, where the impact is felt a lot more stronger as well. Not ideal situations to want to prompt us to even think about considering to buy insurance, and that's why FAs, play a crucial role in reaching out to people, right, to nudge them, to remind them and say that, hey, this is important, hey, I'd love to share with you, yada yada, so on and so forth, right? And that's honestly one of the key roles of being a financial advisor, and I would say one of the key roles of being a salesperson, because that's also the role that they play. And yes, I know, right, some advisors, they do it a bit distastefully, in a way that's just really off-putting, right? And so unfortunately it happens, but that said, there are financial advisors out there that are really great at what they do. They genuinely care, right? And these are the FAs that would still be essential, relevant, and important in this day and age.